Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. We're going to be using the Kawasaki Z1000 from 2006. This is part of the DLC bikes from a couple of weeks ago, and we're here in Okiyama's massive contact there with Thiago Aguilar. Goodness me, I was not expecting that. As carnage already going into the first corner. What on earth has just happened already to start this video off? I can tell already this one's going to be a drain on my voice, isn't it? As we go around the outside now, up into 4th position we go for the left hand of the Moss S, as we now get into the right hand side, right behind the man in 3rd place, Finlay Cooper. I thought about a little bit of a lunge up on the inside, but couldn't quite get the job done going into the outward curve. So now into the right hand side, bringing up the power of this Kawasaki. And let me tell you a little bit of a secret about this Kawasaki, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cracking bike. It really is. I haven't really used this bike, so this is my first experience actually using it, and I've got to tell you, spoiler alert, I think it's fantastic. Maybe it would have made the top 10 if maybe one or two of the bikes weren't made, who knows? But I must confess, I'm really liking this bike. This is the only time I've actually used it, this particular race and the next one as well. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed. I am really impressed with this Kawasaki Z1000. It's not exactly the most eye-catching of bikes, but with the colours of the goldish brash sort of look of it, I really like it. It's a really nice naked bike. I think I found one of my new favourite naked bikes, which leads me on to another topic. We did the top 10 bikes, we did my least favourite 5 bikes in Ride 4, and the next task in this series will be my top 10 favourite tracks, but it's given me an idea. I'm having some sort of brainwave here. I'm thinking, maybe let's break it down a little bit when it comes to the bikes. Let's have the top 10 naked bikes, the top 10 sports bikes, the top 10 250cc bikes, and then the top 10 whatever you would like to call it. But for the time being, Kawasaki Z1000, great bike if you haven't bought the DLC. It's not China Crisis King in a Catholic style, it's actually Naked Japan style in Ride 4, and that was of course one of the premium DLCs, roughly around £3.99, £4.99. I can't actually remember the exact price, but it's something between those lines. But honestly, this bike is great, and it would probably make a top 10 naked bikes. It'd be a difficult decision to actually pinpoint 10 naked bikes, because I don't tend to use the nakeds all that much, but at the same time it would be certainly a nice little addition to our series of top 10s and top 5s and whatever. So let me know in the comment section down below what you're thinking in regards to that. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you reckon we should continue the top 10s, the top 5s, and what you call it? What do you reckon to that? I'm down with the idea, so I'm pretty positive with that thought. But as far as the action goes right now, we are actually yet to dispatch the AI, which is a little bit odd. Usually the AI in Ride 4 have probably fallen by the wayside roughly by about this point. But Nicholas Kekkonen's still hanging in there, trailing by just 0.2 of a second as we go into the last corner here in Okiyama for turn 11. He is right there alongside us, or near enough to is the finish rider, so of course keep an eye on him as we go across the line. Still 2.5 of a second, approaching 0.3 of a second is the gap to Kekkonen, with Cooper a little bit further behind. It's a British 1-3 right now as we get a little bit wild on the right hand side there. There he is on the left hand side. A little bit of a twitch there. I got a little bit nervous on the acceleration, wondering if he was going to just bop me up the rear, because you never know. In MotoGP they tend to do that quite a lot, where they just dive up the inside and give you a big don't argue. But we've gone a little bit wide going into the outward curve, and there is Nicholas Kekkonen. He has retaken the lead from earlier on, of course, as well on board another Kawasaki. I can't actually see which one it is as we fly past the Kawasaki man, and we'll get hard on the brakes going into the right-hander here. This very difficult braking zone, and what a move from Finlay Cooper. Where on earth did he come from? He was in 3rd position, and now all of a sudden he's in 1st position, and we're trailing behind Kekkonen now as we have a little bit of a bumpy moment going into Revolver, and then the same could be said for Piper. In a moment of time, as a little bit of contacts made there as well, just discarding the finish rider as we bumped into the back of him and give him a big don't argue. As we now go into the left-hander for Redman. Finlay Cooper up in the lead here. We're trailing by 0.4 of a second. Are we on the back foot for the very first time in Ride 4 in God knows how long? It has been so long since the AI really challenged us in Ride 4, but I tell you what, Finlay Cooper has well and truly got the bit between his teeth, and he is trying to pull away from DrAce. Don't you know I've done 200 plus videos in Ride 4, Finlay? I will defeat you here today in the night sky of Okiyama as we go on the brakes for the first corner, nice and tight into the apex. Both men really tight there, both men really competing very much there as we now go onto the left hand side. 7 miles done already on this Kawasaki. Of course, it's not much. We are still yet to really fathom out how to really tackle the speed with this beast of a Kawasaki, but you better believe we'll get into it. We'll start churning out the fast lap times. We ran it a little bit deep going into the outward curve. That's 2 laps in succession. We've made that same mistake, and Finley Cooper has 0.4 of a second lead, 0.3 of a second. It's teetering. It's going down now to 0.2 of a second. Nicholas Kekkonen out of this battle for the victory, but will still hold on to that 3rd place, retaining that position with comfortable ease right now, as there doesn't seem to be any position for 4th or 5th anywhere near him. As we get a little bit closer going into the right-hander, now to the left-hander of Revolver. Can we go on the left-hand side for Piper as we get super tight on the left-hand side there? Look how close we were to the rear tyre of the Kawasaki ahead of us. This is going to be one more lap after this one, so the penultimate lap is down between these guys. Who's it going to be? It's a Battle of Britain. It's a Battle of Britain here in Japan. Can we have a lunge over the inside? Ooh, I definitely fancied a move going into Hobbs there for turn 9. Probably wouldn't have been a good idea, so it's a good job we backed out a little bit as we go into the Mike Knight corner. We'll sustain that right-hand side movement going into the last corner for turn 11, because this is the second to final time we'll be doing as we get a little bit out of shape there going over the rumble strips. Probably best to avoid that on the next lap, because of course that's the one that really counts. But across the line we went a 1:32.33, the fastest lap for us so far. A little bit quicker than Finley Cooper, but now it's time to really show our full colours here, the full strength and brilliance of DrAce. Have we got the speed to die with the inside of Finley Cooper? You betcha. We're already through, we're already leading this Grand Prix, and we're already up by 0.3 of a second going into the first sector for the outward curve for turn 4. 11 is when DrAce decided to pull the pin, smash the hammer, and go for it now and get ahead of Finley Cooper and just make this lead too massive for him to compete with. Tagai Sasaki has now actually got onto the podium, so what on earth has happened to the Finnish rider? But we have run it a little bit wide going into the hairpin. There is Finley Cooper. If I just opened my mouth way too early, I think I have. Going into Revolver for turn 6. Can we dive over the inside for Piper? Whoa, super close there, lifting the British rider up there, going into the left-hander. We're up by 0.5 of a second. Could have been a dodgy particular movement going into that corner, because sometimes they do try and close the door on you, but this time, we got the job done. Thank you very much, Finley, but it's not enough to beat me just yet. Hang on, the gap is 0.3 of a second. It's not over yet. I better get across the line before I continue to gore at this opponent and just continue to boast. So let's going into the final corner. We've got the job done. Across the line we will go any moments now with another DrAce victory. Beautifully done. What a wonderful Kawasaki, and I'm so pleased we managed to get our first victory in a thrilling race, actually, here in Okiyama on board the Kawasaki Z1000. So I tell you what, that was a great Japanese Grand Prix, so let's double down. Let's have another Japanese Grand Prix, and i.e. the Japanese Grand Prix, Suzuka, right here in Ride 4. Now, of course, not one of my favourite tracks. I do like Suzuka, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little bit bored of it because it seems to always come up in Ride 4 modes, whether it be weekly challenges, whether it would be even DrAce time trial challenges, or even just in career mode. Whoa, did I just see Johnny Glamour? Johnny Glamour, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Glamour in 5th position, was just temporarily on screen right there. Johnny Glamour is back, and he is here in Suzuka. What a wonderful celebration for the 2,000 subscribers when Johnny Glamour appears his beautiful head. And you know what? I might try and see if I can get Johnny Glamour to finish with us on the podium. I'm not sure I'm going to get the job done. May have to try and slow down some of the riders ahead of us, well, i.e. Frederick Murray in this case, and then try and get Johnny Glamour on the podium, but I'm not sure I can get the job done here today. I'll probably do that for another video. If I see him, I'll try and get Johnny Glamour on the podium with us. But as far as the actual race is going to go, I'm pretty confident that we're going to win here in Suzuka. And as I mentioned, I am getting a little bit bored of Suzuka because it just seems to always come up. And of course, it's a 2+ minute lap. It's a rather long one. When you're doing 5 laps on there, and you still want to do other videos and you're still trying to crack on with other content, Suzuka can get a little bit annoying after a while. But I do really like Suzuka. It's a wonderful track. It has literally everything you want in sense of a good stylistic track, from undulation to long corners to hard braking zones to short 30 to 60 mile an hour corners. It has pretty much everything Suzuka does, and of course it's absolutely iconic. It really is. Everybody knows Suzuka, whether you're even a racing fan. You've probably heard of Suzuka at some point. It's just so good. And with the Naked Japan style, it makes sense to race in another Japanese track, of course. But let me know in the comment section down below what your favourite track is. Do you feel the same way with me? If you're playing Ride 4 a lot, do you feel like maybe Suzuka comes up a little bit too much? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below as we go into the Casio Triangle for the very first time. We'll be doing that 4 more times, so we get used to seeing that corner, because of course it's a very difficult corner to get right, but when you do and you can find the right rhythm, it can really help you with your lap times, because of course getting that right can set you up going into the first corner with that long straight absolutely brilliantly. So it's rather important to not think about the corner you're in, but also think about the corner you're going to go into very, very soon. It's always right to position yourself in the correct way and to handle it in the correct sort of fashion. Otherwise you might end up setting yourself up to a fail just by trying to get one corner a little bit better than the last one. So a little bit of a DrAce life hack for you there. But now into turn 6 for the anti-bank curve. Pretty comfortable lead of 4 seconds now, so it's a simple case of just churn out the fast lap times. Let's see exactly how far we can get with my favourite tyre combination, of course, the hard front and medium rear. Now at the end of the video you will see the combination of tyres that everybody uses, but for some reason it's reversed compared to what you see actually in the main game and what I'm using right now. So the hard front, of course, on your right hand side, you can see in the bottom right corner there, is on the left hand side, and then the rear is on the right hand side. But when you go to the main menu at the end and you see the results, for some reason those are reversed. So I do always use hard front, medium rear and Ride 4. That is always my go-to combination. When I play MotoGP, it tends to be favouring the medium option tyres rather than the harder or the softer option tyres. I'm always fascinated to use different tyres, but majority of the time I do tend to stay with the ones that I'm just comfortable with, because of course you do hear this in Grand Prix racing anyway, that some riders really do favour the hard options compared to the softer options. Some people really like to have a firmer front tyre rather than a softer front tyre. I'm of the same vein as I like the firmer, harder tyre that's able to withstand a lot of braking pressure and even to sustain super high temperatures without getting a little bit spongy. That's my sort of favourite thing to use in Ride 4. I'm not sure if it really makes a massive difference, but in the tyre situation I do tend to always favour the hard or the medium front. So going into the Casio Triangle, a very calculated sort of entry going into both of those corners. Very difficult corner to get right, but I'm pretty confident that we got the job done there yet again. So across the line we will go. It's a 2:07.496 on this second lap. The next 3 laps I do want to be trying to focus on maybe getting that down to a 2:05. It might be a bit optimistic, that one, but maybe a 2:06 if necessary. But I would like to constantly keep improving the lap times. One thing I always pride myself on is trying to be very, very consistent in motorbike games in particular. But of course, any racing performance, I always want to try and be consistent, staying in the sort of same remit of times, staying in the sort of couple of tenths of a second, or just constantly being in the same second. It's just really competitive. Now, I do have a very, very fun and interesting video coming out very, very soon, and that is another DrAce time trial challenge, so stay tuned for that one. I'm not mentioning what it is yet, I'm not going to spill the beans, but I have a little bit of a interesting opinion in this one, and there's a little bit of something happening in the video regarding a cheetah. So stay tuned for that one. That should be for next week, so obviously definitely hit the notification bell so you can be alerted to the upload when it eventually happens. But I gotta be honest with you, I was a little bit miffed that there was this cheetah was involved, because I was pushing from some serious fast-paced lap times that just didn't exist because the cheetah wasn't there. So I won't say much more about it, but if you know, you know, and you're gonna find out from the video coming next week. And obviously I can't wait for you guys to compete in the video as well, and just to share your time trial challenges as well. So of course, if you ever want me to try and tackle a time trial challenge with a particular bike, let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, that is one of the best places to find me. I'm always lurking around in the comment section, always have my phone handy, so if you ever need to comment, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll be there at some point. And of course as well, we do have the Discord server, it's full of DrAce fans and DrAce subscribers. And of course, everyone who does subscribe is becoming an ace at some point. So there you go. If you want to join the aces in my Discord server, link is in the description. Or I do believe the link is on my community post, or maybe in my About Me section. Regardless, if you want that code, let me know and I'll put it in the comment section down below just for you guys. I did have an original code on there somewhere, but unfortunately it did expire. I didn't actually change the expiry date on the link. My mistake. However, positive news, we did manage to get into the 206s, the 206.795 to be precise. I'm still very confident we can improve upon that. It's just piecing it all together, just holding the lines, holding it all together. And of course, with a track that has a very, very long amount of sector times, you have to be very, very precise. And of course, it's difficult to maintain it for 4 long sectors. It's a whole 2 minutes, so you need to really retain that concentration. But at the same time, the longer the track means you can actually afford to make more mistakes. So of course, more mistakes in a longer track will be sort of hidden and sort of patched up when you're doing extremely fast sectors from the other 3, as we go very, very close there to crashing into the Degner curve for turn 8. Be very, very careful on the entry going into that corner. Don't touch the rumble strip like I just did there, because that was a very, very scary moment. Let's be truly honest with ourselves right there, as we now go into the left-hander for the hairpin. But of course, when you do these shorter tracks, such as like Takuba or Okiyama short version, you do tend to find that even one mistake on that one can completely ruin your lap time because of the sheer amount of concentration you need for just 1 minute lap. It might be a sub 1 minute lap, and if you make one little mistake, you can't patch it up with any more sectors, because the chances are it's probably only going to be 3 sectors long, or maybe even 2 sectors, depending on how short the actual track is. So something to bear in mind. So if you are doing time trial challenges and you wonder why you can't seem to get the fastest one in those shorter variants, it's probably because you're making that one little mistake that just completely ruins your chance of getting the perfect lap time. So completing the final sector on lap 4, giving it everything on this lap. I'm really trying to improve, but I think I made a couple more mistakes that I didn't really want to make. As we're now going into the right hand for the Casio triangle, now to the left hand side as well for the second part of the Casio triangle, and now for the last corner. We are going to be starting the final lap here at 1:30 today, and of course no improvement, a 2:07.097. So this is our final lap to try and improve upon our 2:06.795 and hopefully get into the low 2:06s. And sad times there, guys. On the left hand side of your screen just a moment ago, Johnny Glamour in 11th place. So not all stories have a happy ending, it seems, as Johnny Glamour is going to be sitting there in 11th place. Not the spot where we wanted for Johnny Glamour. For JG, would rather like to clink a few glasses with our virtual compatriot JG. Johnny Glamour, I think his number is 89 if I remember right. So JG 89 in the comment section down below. So up into the first sector, we're actually down by 92 thousandths of a second as we go into the left-hander for the Dunlop curve, and there's a mistake. Oh, I could feel it coming. I could feel it happening on my right trigger then. That corner has a little dip right in the middle of it, and if you're not careful, that will happen. And now I've completely lost the plot going wide into the right-hander for turn 8 and for turn 9. What a mistake has happened. Johnny Glamour has caused this. Seeing him so far down has just completely sapped me for my energy and my momentum, and it seems we've just dropped even further behind from our goal of achieving a low 2:06. Maybe I'll have to return back to this in a time trial challenge someday. Who knows? Let me know if you want to see something like that. I definitely want to use this Kawasaki in a time trial challenge. I don't care if it's not going to get the top spot. I just want to use this bike more often because I think it's fantastic. I've neglected to mention how good this bike has been around Suzuka. It's felt like it's been on rails. Super, super good. And I don't mean that in a negative way, of course. We do have the saying in the past where a bike on rails means it doesn't do anything. Of course, the physics are bad, but that's not what I'm trying to say. The bike feels fantastic. It's super, super glued to the track. Very, very comfortable to use. Very good on the brakes as well. You can feel like you can really chuck it in on the brakes. It's quite firm. Major props to the Kawasaki Z1000 from 2006, but it's 1:45. This will be our final lap. This will be a completion in the sense of Ride 4 and Naked Japan style. I have completed all of the particular races in this category, so I should be handing myself a nice achievement. But upon that note, guys, the Kawasaki Z1000, thank you very much. For you guys, thank you very much for watching as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon the note, guys, thanks for watching, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.